Before my foraging walks, I always give a little bit of health and safety and a little bit of conservation advice. And this should be no different, really, because essentially this is what this is going to be. This is going to be a kind of virtual foraging walk with a bit of information about how to use the wild plants in your brewing. So firstly, the law. It's illegal to pick from a 𝗁𝗏𝗍𝗍, so just don't do it. It's also illegal to dig up a root without the landowner's permission, so try and get hold of the landowner's permission if you want to get, say, some burdock roots. And conservation wise, let's think about the birds, let's think about the insects, and think about the whole scheme of everything. And you can be selfish and bring it all back to the human being. So I always think that if you overpick, say, an elder for the elderflower, then there's no elderberries later in the year for the birds. Then the numbers of birds might drop off. That means the number of caterpillars and other insects might go up. If that goes up, then the number of our crops that are viable goes down. That affects our food prices. That affects us. So think about it before you overpick. Think about how much your shopping is going to cost. So that's a good way, I think, of just sort of getting across that it's not just some hippy-dippy thing. Yeah, and besides, you want to know that there's enough there for you for next time you go out picking. So say, for instance, mugwort. I can remember the first time I came across mugwort and wanted to use it for brewing. I only found one plant, so I left it completely alone. And then I come back in subsequent years to that area, and there's loads. And so it does spread if you leave a plant. So again, think about yourself, think about how much you really want to be searching all over the place looking for these plants. So if you count 1, 2, 3, start picking from the third, and then that leaves 2 plants to grow and to continue the cycle so that you can come back year after year. Lastly, don't pick anything if you're not sure what it is. I mean, it's just stuff. There's a saying, you get old foragers and bold foragers, but you don't get old bold foragers. So basically what that's saying is, don't just go out and say, oh, I think that is such and such a plant. Pick it and eat it. I know on a few occasions, 3 occasions I can count, that people have thought hemlock was yarrow. They are quite different plants really when you get to know them, but you have to get to know them, and that's the point. So use apps, use books, use this video, use everything in your disposal to make sure you're 110% sure about what you're picking before you put it into a beer, or before you eat it, before you do anything with it. That way you can stay alive for the next year, because it's important that you stay alive for the next year as well. So yeah, I think that'd do for all the sort of boring legally bits and the conservation bits and all the rest of it. So enjoy the rest of the video now. Will be about where to find the plants. So it's a kind of virtual foraging walk.